That's a probing question. How safe are our children? Kenya is assessing the results of more than 2 decades of Vision 2030 across various sectors, including agriculture and infrastructure, as well as education, healthcare, and governance. Reports on the implementation of a Vision 2030 highlight significant achievements, but also point to several gaps as the Vision 2030 period draws to a close. A national debate has begun on the country's future, with experts warning that Kenya needs a long-term development vision. This report was prepared by Alvin Kivinji.
From farms to factories, classrooms to hospitals, roads to airports, Kenya's development story is one of striking gains, but also missed targets. The Kenya Vision 2030 scorecard tracks the country's progress across the economic, social, political, and enablers pillars.
We are at 66.1% of achievement implementation of the Kenya Vision 2030 projects from 2008 until today. Our aim was to transform Kenya into a globally competitive country, prosperous nation.
One of the economic pillar, agriculture, has recorded one of the clearest transformations. Its contributions to GDP rose from about 411 billion shillings in 2007 to 3.6 trillion in 2024. The scorecard attributes the growth partly to subsidized fertilizer, agricultural mechanization, and expanded irrigation programs. Manufacturing, once expected to be a major engine of industrialization, has instead seen its contribution to GDP fall from 10.4% in 2007 to 7.3% in 2024. The scorecard describes the sector's growth as having stagnated even as efforts continue to revive it. At the macroeconomic level, Kenya's GDP has expanded dramatically from 1.8 trillion shillings in 2007 to 16.2 trillion in 2024. The scorecard says the 2024 GDP figure represented a 7.3% increase from 2023. Money supply grew from 5 trillion shillings in 2022 to 6.1 trillion in 2024. At the same time, inflation eased sharply to 4.5% in 2024, bringing it within the central bank's 5% target bands, plus or minus 2.5 percentage points. Formal wage employment also edged upwards from 3 million workers in 2022 to 3.2 million in 2024.
From where we are as a country today, the targets that we put were very, very aggressive, 10% GDP growth consistently, that we have not achieved.
On the social front, home ownership has steadily increased, reaching 8.5 million people in 2024. The scorecard attributes this progress to initiatives including the Affordable Housing Program, mortgage reforms, and SACCO-based rural housing schemes. Healthcare presents a more complicated picture. The scorecard says significant progress has been made in universal health coverage through expanded registration, benefits, and service coverage. But the reported figure fell from 16.2 million in 2023 to 12.7 million in 2024, an indication that major gaps remain in the journey towards universal healthcare. Education has also recorded sustained growth. Primary school enrollment rose from 8.2 million learners in 2007 to more than 10.7 million in 2024. With the scorecard linking the increase to free primary education, expanded infrastructure, and targeted government programs. Security infrastructure has also improved significantly from 2007, when one police officer served approximately 1,150 people, and by 2024, the ratio stood at one officer for every 512 people, an improvement from 2007, although still above the international target of one officer for every 450 people. What happens after Vision 2030?
We must have a clear view of the future that we desire and commit ourselves to building it block by block until we achieve it.
The Vision 2030 has changed the country. It is evidence, it is not talk.
Nearly 2 decades after Kenya embarked on Vision 2030, the gains are visible, but the gaps are equally clear as the country begins imagining Kenya beyond 2030 towards 2060.